Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, y'all. Hey, this is your coach, your transformational life coach, Sister Nayera. All right, so we're back, day eight. And I just want to say this. You are a tribe by what you do. You are a tribe by what you say. And let me tell you this, since I started this, things are coming up in my universe. But one of the things that I truly understand is that we're dealing with the law of confusion. And the way we think is the way we create. And what we create is a result of the way we think. So because I decided to do this 21-day challenge, I understand that I'm putting in new systems. I'm blowing off a lot of confusions. I am dealing with not just with myself, but with masses of people, and things are becoming in order. So let me say this. If you started this challenge with me and things are shifting, it truly is an indicator that we're on the right track. We're doing the right thing at the right time for ourselves. Now, if you're new to this channel, what I'm going to ask that you do is go ahead and the like the video, subscribe to the channel, and put on your notifications. So every time I go live, every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Okay. We are on a 21-day mindset challenge as a man thinketh. Okay. And I'm super, if you know me, I am super excited. I'm super excited to show it for you, to show it for myself, and for us to get this work in. All right. So if you are here, and you are because you're watching, I'm going to ask that number one, you should have your journal. You should have your highlighters. By now, you should have your books. Okay. If you like me, you need your glasses because, baby, I need my glasses. I need my glasses. Okay, and so we're going to have a very good time today. I'm once again, I'm excited about how God is moving us in this season for this reason. And today, I want to talk about calmness. As you can see, I put myself in an environment where I desire to be, do, and have to bring serenity, okay? To bring serenity to my soul, to be able to expand myself in my power, okay? Now, again, if you apply what I'm giving you, I know that we all will experience transformation. And as I stated earlier, you are tried by what you say. You are tried by your decisions. Oh my God, write that down. You and I are tried by our decisions. When you make a decision, whatever that decision is, that's where your next level of trial comes. You know, they say this, and I do believe in this saying, at every level, there's a new devil. Well, what does that represent for me, Sister Coach? Every level, there's a new weakness of self that you have to go through, press through, and persist on with. Okay. So, again, you're at a new level now. You're not the same person that started 7 days ago. You're not that same person if you are truly doing the assignments and applying the work. And so, one of our greatest signs of growth is not how loud we are as a person, it's how peaceful we become under pressure, right? And I love the serenity prayer. I will highly suggest that you get a serenity prayer and you know the wisdom. It says, well, okay, let me slow down because I'm going a little fast, right? The serenity prayer, you have to be able to know the things that you can change and the things that you can't, and have the wisdom to know the difference. Ask God to grant you the serenity, grant you peace during your times of trials and tribulation. So if you're under some pressure right now, it's not about how loud you are, because I'm under some pressure, but how calm can I be? You know, there's a scripture that say, be still and know that I'm God. Are you still? Can you be still in the midst of the storms? Okay. So day 8 is all about emotional control, maturity, and instability. How peaceful can you be in the midst of a storm? Okay. And so I say this. Oh, thank you, God. A calm mind makes better decisions. I'll sip some coffee on that. Have you ever tried to make decisions in the midst of chaos? I know I have. And baby, let me tell you, when I do that, I feel like I'm all over this place. The decision that I made is all over the place. And the things that I'm trying to do has no order to it. So when our emotions take over, wisdom leaves the room. I'm going to say that again. When our emotions take over, wisdom leaves the room. So we have to react quickly and more swiftly in chaos than we will in calmness. When you're calm, right? When people are calm, you can pause, you can observe, you can think, and you can clearly create the outcomes that you desire. When you are chaotic, you got to think fast and you're moving fast and you're kind of rigid with it. But when you calm, you get an opportunity to pause, you get an opportunity to observe, you get an opportunity to think about, and you can clearly with sanity, create the outcomes that you desire. And that's what life is all about. Are you creating the outcomes that you desire, or are you at the effect of the outcomes that you are seeing? And when we can look at that, now we become more centered because we're not reacting, we're responding. And that's where your power is. Your power is when you are centered. This morning, I got up and I just took a breath. And I realized that me and God is in control, not no one else. And I know this. If y'all rocking with me, sometimes we give people, places, and things more control over our lives than what we have. We have given and lend our intellectual power, our emotions, our circumstance. We give it to other people because we don't trust the inner authority within ourselves. But in this journey, we're learning how to take back our power, take and increase our inner authority. And that is the power to be, to do, and to have, especially when you can do it knowing that you are a God. Peace, be still, and know that you're a God. Because, and let me know if this is resonating, drop it in the comment. When people are when they make decision under aggression, like real rough and tough, and they feel like the meaner they are, the more upset they are, the more control they have. That's when you're losing all your power. Why am I going over this? Because the next time you try it, and it's probably going to be as soon as you get off this call, as soon as you start watching this video, the next time you try, you don't have to be upset. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be mad. No, just be still. Pause, observe, think, and then create the outcome that you desire. Real strength is in mastering our thoughts and emotions. That's the real strength. When you and I can master our thoughts and we can master our emotion, now we know we got it going on. Yep. And so a peaceable person, you're not weak. You're disciplined internally. Come on now. This is as a man or woman thinketh. We're not weak because we're peaceful. It's called self-mastery, and we're in mastering that inner authority, that God power. We're increasing our God power. The more peaceful we can be in the midst of the storm. I would not create chaos. I would be centered. Okay. And so I encourage you. Here's your assignment before we get into the reading. Okay. I encourage you to evaluate your emotional tone level. 1 through 5. How do you respond? With 1 being the worst that you can think of. I mean, off the chain, the worst. And 5 being your best. Okay, your best version, your peaceful version, your God version, your control version. So I want you to think about something, about a situation today, anything that may happen today, and then rate your emotional tone about that. Okay. Okay. And so with that being said, your environment dictates your circumstances. Okay. Your environment of your mind, your environment of your soul, your inner environment, and your outer environment. And I want to say noise does not have to become, the noise outside of you doesn't have to become the noise within you. Okay. It can be real noisy on us outside. It could be a lot of chatter. Chatter. It could be a lot of things going on around you. But what I want to say to you is let your inner noise be quieter than your outer noise. And if you've ever been in a situation like I have been, where your mind just talk, and talk, and it is just talking, and you thinking about things that happened 3 days ago, 2 days ago, early this morning, 5 days ago, that's a lot of chatter. That's inner noise. We got to learn how to quiet the mind so that you can be able to be with yourself and then move accordingly to the newfound peace that you have. You got to learn how to quiet, say this with me, I am quieting my mind. Even in the midst of confusion, even in the midst of betrayal, under pressure, uncertainty, I can choose my disciplined thoughts and emotions by quieting my mind, centering my heart as a man thinketh. Because what you think up here is automatically what you think here. Your heart is the seat of emotion. That's a mindset. It's not a physical, like the organ, the heart. It's a mindset. That's the seat of your emotion. And so you may not be in control of every circumstances, but you can control your responses. Okay. You may not can control everything and dictate everything that's happening around you, but you can control your emotions. Okay. And so with that being said, activation will require you to have elevation. All right. So here's something that you can reflect on. I'm gonna give you 3 things today. One, what situation usually steals your peace? Two, how do I normally react emotionally? Write these things down. Three, what would a calm, healed version of me choose today? Okay, I'm gonna say this again. One, what situation usually steals my peace? Two, how do I normally react emotionally? Three, what would a calm, healed version of me choose today? All right, so those are your 3 things that I want you to write in your journal so that we can actually have something that we can reflect on. Remember, this is transformation. This is you challenging yourself to go to a new and better level, okay? Here's my call to action. We 8 days in, okay? Require yourself to respond differently and understand that a healed version does not mean that you panic easily. The healed version of yourself, like the things that you've healed from within the last 7 days, you don't get into panic and frantic. You get into peace, be still. Okay. You're responding versus reacting. You have peace with clarity and intention, because intention is cause. Okay. And you have decided to heal on purpose, respond on purpose, and lead on purpose. Heal on purpose, respond on purpose, and lead on purpose. This is my call to action for us today. Okay. And so I am going to get into the reading. Y'all, I'm so super excited because I feel the emotional change within myself. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm generally a pretty happy person. I feel like I have my thoughts and things together. But when I tell you, when life throws a curveball, you have to lean into what you know. And if you haven't been developing yourself, it's hard to lean into an empty cup. It's hard to lean into something that's not there. This is why these challenges and the different things that I offer my community is so important. You can't just jump in one time and then pull yourself out. It's a continuous effort to be healed on purpose. Life would throw some things in your face. Life would throw it. It comes from the people that you love the most. It comes from situations, circumstances, your job, your house, your children, your man, your wife, your husband, your friend. It will come from any direction, but are you ready for it? See, you have to position yourself to be prepared when life throws the curveball. And I'm gonna tell you, it's things like this. Is you taking time out to tune into this YouTube channel. If it's just one person, you are preparing yourself for life curveballs. So don't take these YouTube channels, these little messages that I'm giving you lightly. It's called preparation. So you can continue in elevation. You should put yourself in rooms. You should put yourself around people. You have to close out the noise of distractions because pain will drain you. And so this is a process of renewing your spirit. Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is you and I renewing our minds daily because we have to fight the devil from within and without. So I just want to thank you for just taking the moments and not only doing it for yourself. If you care about somebody else, you will pass on the knowledge. You will pass on the situation. You will pass on a word that would get a person to the next level. Because I'm going to tell you this, from my experience, it's hard out here. But we shall win. And we are the victorious. So are you prepared for life curveballs? Because you're playing the game. But are you playing to win? And so what I've come to find in the last 7 days, baby, I'm playing to win. I'm playing to win. So I have to keep showing up, even when I don't have to, even when the curveballs come through. And some curveballs have come while I've been doing this challenge. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. And sometimes we got to have that get right attitude. Get right. Okay. Get right back on it. Say that with me. I got that get right attitude. I'm going to get right back on it. We don't stop. We just keep going. It's called persist. Okay, so that's what I have for you all today. Let me go ahead and let's get into the reading. Y'all ready? We stopped on page 26 at the bottom last time. We're going to go ahead and read this book. All right, here we go. If you got your glasses like me, go ahead and put your glasses on. I got my glasses on, y'all. Ain't they cute? I had to get used to wearing glasses. Okay, and I have my highlighter. Do you have your highlighter? I have my highlighter. Let's go. I'm going to go with orange today. Okay, here we go. At the bottom of page 26, the proof of this truth is in every person, and it therefore admits of easy investigation by systematic introspection and self-analysis. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will effect in the material conditions of his life. Men imagine that thought can be kept secret, but it cannot. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstances. Bestial thoughts crystallize into habits of drunkenness and sensuality, which solidify into circumstances of destitution and disease. Impure thoughts of every kind crystallize into innervating and confusing habits, which solidify into distracting and adverse circumstances. Thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision crystallize into weak, unmanly, and irresolute habits, Lord, which solidify into circumstances of failure, indigenous, and salvage dependence. Lazy thoughts crystallize into habits of uncleanliness and dishonesty, which solidify into circumstances of foulness and beggary. Listen, listen, listen. Hateful and condemnatory thoughts crystallize into habits of accusations, and violence, which solidify, listen to the word, solidify into circumstances of injury and persecution. Selfish thoughts of all kinds crystallize into habits of self-seeking, which solidify into circumstances of more or less distressing. Every thought solidifies into something. On the other hand, see, it's always the yin and the yang. On the other hand, beautiful thoughts of all kinds crystallize into habits of grace, kindliness, which solidify into genial and sunny circumstances. Pure thoughts crystallize into habits of temperance and self-control, which solidify into the circumstances of response and peace. Thoughts of courage, self-reliance, and decision crystallize into mainly habits, which solidify into circumstances of success, plenty, and freedom. Energetic thoughts crystallize into habits of cleanliness in industry, which solidifies into circumstances of pleasantness. Gentle and forgiving thoughts crystallize. See, one solidify, the other one crystallize. Come on. Into habits of gentleness, which solidify into protective and preservative circumstances. Loving and unselfish thoughts crystallize into habits of self-forgetfulness for others, which solidify into circumstances of sure and abiding prosperity, true riches. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got one more page. We're going to finish this out. Are you ready? Here we go. Remember, this is effect on circumstances. A particular train of thought persisted in, be it good or bad, cannot fail to produce its results on the character and circumstances. A man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts. And so indirectly, yet surely shape his circumstances. Nature helps every man to the gratification of the thoughts, which he most encourages in opportunities and presented, which will most speedily bring to the surface both good and evil thoughts. Let a man cease from his sinful thoughts, and all the world will soften toward him and be ready to help him. Let him put away his weakly and sickly thoughts, and lo, opportunities will spring up on every hand to aid his strong resolves. Let him encourage good thoughts, and no hard fate shall bind him down into wretchedness and shame. The world is your kaleidoscope, and the varying combinations of colors, which at every succeeding moment it presents to you, are the exquisitely adjusted pictures of your ever-moving thoughts. My God. You will be what you will be. Let failure find its false content in the poor word environment, but spirit scorns it, and it is free. It masters times, it conquers space, it cows that boastful trickster, chance, and it bids the tyrant circumstances, uncrowned in a field servant's place. The human will that force unseen, the offspring of deathless soul, can hew a way to any goal. Though walls of granite intervene, be not impatient in delay, but wait as one understands when the spirit rises and commands, the gods are ready to obey. Look, good Lord Almighty, good Lord Almighty, as above, so beneath. When there's light, there's always darkness. Where there's good, there's always bad. But where there's positive thinking, just know that there's negative thinking. But you get to choose. You get to solidify your thoughts. You get to crystallize your thoughts. You and I get to manifest the life that we desire. But you got to create a new reality in your mind. You got to see a new scenery. And so today, I implore you, I encourage you to do something new. I encourage you that when it's hard, and I mean it gets hard, that's the time that you invest in yourself to do the best for yourself. That's the time that you got to invest in yourself to do the best for yourself. Hey, I love y'all. I want to thank you so very much. Change requires dedication. Change requires a new circumstances. Change requires new reality. Change requires a new word spoken. Change requires a new thought thinking. You and I are in the process of change. This book, written back from the past to the present to the future, as a man thinketh, so is he. So we're changing our thoughts. And I just want to say, I'm grateful. Write down 5 things that you're grateful for. And on my number 1 list, I'm going to say, I'm grateful that God would give me the courage to show up for change. I'm grateful that God would give me the courage to show up for change. And I'm ready and I'm prepared for the new changes that he's preparing for me. But I just pray that he will continue to use me as a vessel, that not only can I have the power to change myself, because I'm not a selfish person. Selfish person. I want to be selfless and serve in every aspect of my life. The greatest amongst you are those who can serve. Can you serve yourself? Hey, I want to thank you. I love y'all. And this is the Heal on Purpose community. Let's keep acquiring the discipline and the consistency for change. Peace, one love. This is your coach, Naira.